A bank account is running under your name, and it's all being drained into a place you. Archangel Michael says, "Listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal carries weight that can change the way you see your present reality." There are forces moving behind the curtain of your life, and one of them has created a trap so subtle yet so powerful that it can shake your very foundation. A bank account has been established under your name, and while you walk unaware, funds are moving, slipping quietly from one shadowy hand to another, in places you never stepped, in transactions you never approved. This is not mere coincidence, not an error, not a misunderstanding of paperwork. This is intentional. It is a design carefully woven by those who want to benefit from your identity, who want to profit from your silence, who want to see you face blame for what they orchestrated. The silence of midnight carries whispers of numbers shifting, funds rerouting, names being used without the owner's breath of permission. That owner is you. And every passing moment that this continues, the snare tightens, the circle draws closer, and the trap prepares to spring. You have been walking with trust in the system, never suspecting that someone could lay such a foundation in your name, while smiling at you in the daylight. Yet at night, they conspire, using codes, papers, and secret connections to feed themselves from your energy. Type Amen 333 to break the hidden chain of darkness working against you. What they don't know is that heaven has already begun revealing the truth. Light is exposing the account, exposing the wires, exposing the transfers. The mask of safety they thought they had built is cracking, and the sound of that crack is about to become thunder in your life. Archangel Michael says, "I am showing you this not to frighten you, but to alert you so you may stand in readiness. For when a storm is on the horizon, it is the wise who build shelter before the winds touch the roof." This storm is financial, spiritual, and deeply personal, and it is aimed directly at you. The documents exist, the statements carry your name, but the intentions do not belong to you. Hidden signatures, manipulated agreements, and false authorizations have all been prepared in silence. And if this were to go unnoticed, the blame, the weight, and the punishment would fall unjustly on your shoulders. You need to understand how deeply this plot is rooted. It did not appear yesterday. It has been unfolding slowly, carefully, as they tested boundaries, crossed lines, and pushed limits further. With every small success they tasted, their hunger grew larger, until they dared to create a full account in your very name. Type Amen 777 to declare freedom over your finances now. They believed you would never know. They thought silence was their shield. They assumed you would walk blind and that no messenger of heaven would uncover it. But their arrogance has exposed them. Their greed has marked them. And now, their network is trembling under the weight of what has been seen from above. Imagine the corridors where their whispers echo. Imagine the tables where their plans were drawn. Imagine the phone calls, the meetings, the ink on paper where your identity was turned into a tool for their greed. None of this happened randomly, it was deliberate, step by step, as if they were constructing a prison made of numbers. Yet even prisons of numbers can collapse when the truth is revealed. The spiritual world is already aligning to bring exposure. People they thought were loyal will betray them. Hidden recordings will surface. An overlooked document will fall into the right hands. Their confidence will shatter, and the web they spun around your name will burn away like dry leaves in fire. Type Amen 999 if you want the divine sword of justice to cut through every false chain tied to your name. The energy of money is not only physical, it is spiritual. When it flows falsely, it carries curses. When it is stolen, it drags consequences. Those who created this account believe they are moving with freedom, but they are already entangled in what they have stolen. The very funds they touch are poisoned, and their lives are being consumed by what they thought was profit. But you are different. You were not meant to suffer under their plot. That is why heaven reveals this to you before the explosion comes. That is why this message reaches you before their final stroke lands. You are being warned so you may be protected. Archangel Michael says, "Hear me, do not dismiss this message. Do not ignore the whisper of truth rising in your spirit as you read these words. The warning is the shield. The revelation is the weapon. The knowledge is the deliverance." And as this account is being used, as the transfers are being carried out, as the names are being swapped, there is also a countdown. The time of exposure is approaching. The hour when they thought they would flourish will instead become the hour of their downfall. Type Amen 111 if you are ready for heaven's hand to uncover the hidden and protect your inheritance. The sound of secrecy is louder than silence itself. It vibrates in places unseen, it lingers in the corridors of hidden banks and offices where your name is etched on paper without your touch. Every number that moves, every transaction that flows from this account, carries your identity like a banner, but behind it is a stranger's hand, greedy and unrelenting. They wanted this to remain invisible. They wanted it hidden so deeply that you would never imagine your own name being turned into a tool against you. What they underestimated was the divine watchtower, the eye that sees what no human thought could uncover, the ear that hears whispers before they even touch the air. Archangel Michael says, "This revelation has come to you now because the time of silence has ended. The trap they have been weaving has reached its climax. The circle of their greed is tightening, and the strings they have pulled so confidently are about to snap. The account is not ordinary. It is a vessel of deceit, constructed to drain not only finances but also the peace that surrounds your life. By attaching your name, they have aimed to entangle you in their future downfall, so that when the collapse happens, you would bear the weight of blame that never belonged to you." Type Amen 444 if you stand in agreement for divine exposure and protection. They moved quietly at first, small amounts, unnoticeable, slipping like drops of rain in a storm no one cared to measure. But soon, the trickle turned into a stream, the stream into a river, until entire sums began to flow from one shadow to another. Their confidence grew with every unnoticed move, with every silent theft. And now, that same confidence is about to betray them. For arrogance blinds, and in their blindness, they have left traces. They left signatures where they thought none would see. They left timestamps that can be recovered. They left evidence that will roar like thunder when exposed. You are not standing alone in this. Even though the shadows tried to cloak the truth, the light has already pierced through the veil. The exposure is already unfolding, and you are being guided to stand firm, to not tremble, to not bow under the fear of what they designed. Archangel Michael says, "Do not fear the hour of exposure, for it will not be your shame but theirs. The tables are turning, and the very system they used against you will become the system that unravels them. Type Amen 2:22 to seal this promise of reversal. This plan was not only financial, it was spiritual warfare in disguise. They believed by tying your name to their secret account, they could drain your blessings, your opportunities, and your reputation. They wanted to anchor you to debt you never created, to burdens you never birthed, to accusations you never deserved. But what they did not understand is that every act of deceit carries a seed of destruction within it. And that seed is now blooming, not in your life, but in theirs. They thought they planted victory, but they planted ruin. They thought they birthed success, but they birthed downfall. The financial system itself is shifting, aligning, and what was once hidden is already bubbling to the surface. There will be moments when names will be spoken aloud in places of authority, and when your name appears, it will not be in accusation, it will be in vindication. Type Amen 1010 to release the covering of truth over your name. The one who designed this against you is not far. This is not the work of a stranger on the other side of the world. This is closer. Too close. Someone who knows enough to use what belongs to you, someone who dared to believe you would never sense it, someone who wears a mask of familiarity while hiding the shadow of betrayal. Their mask is breaking. Their voice is trembling. Their plans are crumbling. For the energy of stolen wealth cannot remain stable, it rots, it consumes, it decays the very hand that holds it. And their decay has already begun. Archangel Michael says, I reveal this so you may not walk in blindness. The exposure will not be soft, it will be sharp, sudden, and undeniable. The truth will not arrive with whispers but with a roar. Type Amen 555 if you are ready for the roar of justice to sound in your life. The walls are shaking where their secrets were buried. What they thought was hidden in darkness is now trembling under the light. The account that was designed to drain you has become a ticking device, one that will soon explode with revelation, leaving no space for them to hide. They calculated every move with precision, yet in their calculation, they forgot the hand of heaven. Numbers can be manipulated, but truth cannot be erased. Documents can be forged, but justice cannot be destroyed. Every transfer they made has already been recorded in ways they cannot erase, stored in realms they cannot touch. Archangel Michael says, your name has been shielded, even as it was used. Though the enemy thought they could entangle you in their web, heaven's hand was already separating your path from theirs. The blade of truth is already cutting through the lies, ensuring that what was meant to stain you will instead stain them. The pace of their activity has been frantic lately, like those who sense their time is short. They are moving quickly, rushing, draining as much as they can before the curtain falls. But in their rush, they are careless. And in that carelessness, they leave trails that cannot be hidden. Type Amen 1212 if you want the careless trail of the enemy to lead directly to their downfall. The shadows they created are breaking apart. Their confidence is failing. They speak with boldness in public, but behind closed doors, their voices shake. They know something is slipping, and no matter how hard they try, they cannot grip it tightly anymore. What is slipping is not money, it is power. The power they believed they held by using your name is dissolving. They cannot control the current of exposure, and the system they manipulated is now working against them. The very tools they used to steal are turning into weapons of proof against them. This is why you are being prepared with these words now. So when the revelation strikes, you will not be shaken, you will not be afraid, and you will not carry false blame. Instead, you will stand untouched while their empire collapses before them. Archangel Michael says, I stand with you, and I will not allow your name to be tied to their destruction. Your path is protected. Their downfall is sealed. Type Amen 888 if you agree that protection is already covering your name. The closer the exposure draws, the more desperate they become. Watch their actions, though hidden, their desperation leaks. They may try to distract you, they may try to pull you into small disputes, they may attempt to blur your focus. But remember, these are not random, they are tactics to keep you from seeing the greater plot. Their hands are shaking, their nights are sleepless, their plans are unraveling. What they built on your name is collapsing under their own weight. They tried to climb too high on a ladder that was not theirs, and now that ladder is snapping beneath them. Their network is not as strong as it once seemed. Alliances are breaking, trust is crumbling, and those who once helped them are now watching carefully, ready to turn against them when the exposure reaches its height. No mask will be left intact. No secret will remain covered. Type Amen 333 if you receive this promise of unmasking and exposure. The account is real. The transfers are real. But the judgment over it will also be real. Every act of deceit carries a shadow, and that shadow has been seen. The system that carried their funds is now marking their steps, and those marks will lead to justice. And while they scramble to hold on to what they stole, a divine reversal is preparing. What was drained will be restored in ways greater than they imagined. What was stolen in numbers will return multiplied in opportunities. The curse they tried to plant will turn into your blessing. Archangel Michael says, be still and remain ready. Do not let fear consume you, for fear is their weapon. Stand in light, for light is your shield. Type Amen 1111 if you are standing in the light of justice today. The night hours are the most dangerous, because that is when the movements are made. The transfers slide from one place to another, cloaked in silence, and names are shifted in digital corridors that most eyes will never see. But what they fail to realize is that even in the hidden hours, there is no true cover. Your name echoes across those wires, and heaven has placed a mark of separation on it. The system recognizes it, but the spirit world rejects the theft. The money flowing through those accounts does not belong to you, and the stain they wanted to attach to your future has already been blocked from attaching itself to your destiny. Archangel Michael says, the unseen is greater than the seen. What you cannot watch, heaven is already guarding. What you cannot stop with your hands, the divine has already interrupted with force. The one who orchestrated this thought themselves clever, but their cleverness is now their downfall. They thought they could design this in shadows forever. They believed their plan was too intricate, too secure, too protected to ever be uncovered. But arrogance blinds, and blinded eyes always stumble. Type Amen 2020 to stand under divine protection as the hidden is brought to light. The shaking has already begun in their circle. The very account they created to steal is the account that is attracting suspicion. The transfers that once moved easily now draw eyes they cannot escape. The paper trail that seemed invisible has become a spotlight in the system. They are nervous, and you can sense it if you pay attention. Their conversations are shorter. Their tone is sharper. They walk with weight on their shoulders that they can no longer hide. Their silence is not peace, it is fear. What they did in confidence has turned into a prison of their own making. They thought they built freedom by taking what was not theirs, but instead they built bars around themselves. Now, every night, they hear the echo of exposure growing louder. Archangel Michael says, "You are free from their prison. It will collapse on them, not on you. Your path is cleared, your name is secured, and your future is protected." Type Amen 666 if you agree that no prison of deceit can hold you. The enemy knows time is running short. That is why the activity has increased, why desperation has taken root, why they scramble harder now than before. They are reaching for more because they feel what is coming, but their reaching is in vain. Every grasp they make only pulls them closer to judgment. The account is like a mirror now, reflecting their greed back onto them. What they thought would hide them is instead exposing them. What they believed would secure them is instead undoing them. Their own greed has become their destruction. You stand at the edge of revelation, where truth will speak loudly and undeniably. There will be no denial when the exposure arrives. Every record, every hidden move, every transfer made will roar like thunder, pointing directly to them. Type Amen 717 if you believe your vindication is already written. There is also a spiritual layer beyond the numbers. The enemy wanted not only to steal finances but to steal your energy, your joy, your stability. Money is energy, and by attaching your name to stolen streams, they hope to drain your peace as well. But this plan has already failed. Your joy is untouchable. Your name is untouchable. And your spirit is rising above their schemes. The storm they wanted you to drown in is the storm they will be swallowed by. Archangel Michael says, "Remain steady. For though the noise grows louder, peace is already your portion. The darkness is loud, but light is stronger." Type Amen 4545 if you choose peace over fear in this hour. The atmosphere is heavy with the weight of secrets about to break open. Those who thought they could hold your identity like a mask are now trembling because the mask is slipping. They can no longer control the pieces that are falling apart, and every crack in their plan is letting the light through. They thought they could hide behind numbers. They believed that paper and signatures would be enough to shield them. But numbers are not stronger than truth, and signatures cannot silence what heaven has revealed. Every false paper they created is waiting to be used as evidence against them. Archangel Michael says, what they designed as a trap will become their downfall. What they built with intent to destroy you will turn into the rope that binds them. And while they fall, you will remain standing untouched, shielded by divine authority. Their fear grows each day, though they do not show it openly. Behind their faces lies the torment of what they know is coming. They may act normal around you, but in their silence they hear the echo of judgment. And that echo is getting louder. Type Amen 121 if you accept that your name is free from all false accusation. The account is no longer a secret in the unseen realms. The whisper of its existence has been spoken into places of authority. What they hoped would never be uncovered is now sitting under the eyes of those who matter most. The chain is unraveling, and every link will expose them. Do not be distracted by the noise of their desperation. Do not be swayed by sudden movements around you. These are signs that the exposure is close, that their confidence has shattered, and that the web they spun is no longer holding them safely. You are being given this insight so you may not fear. You are being told so you will walk with clarity and peace. You are shielded, and you are prepared, even while they are left in confusion and fear. Archangel Michael says, when the storm of exposure arrives, your name will not be carried with the debris. It will stand untouched in the light of truth. Type Amen 2323 if you agree that truth alone defines your path. The stolen wealth is heavy with curses. It does not bring them joy, it robs them of it. They thought riches would give them peace, but instead it is stealing their sleep. They thought control would bring power, but instead it is weakening their very souls. This is why they look restless, why their faces show tension, why their energy feels drained. The very thing they created to destroy you is already destroying them. Their greed was their choice, and their choice is their ruin. The wires are still moving, yes, but the wires are already marked. Each transfer is being traced, each number is being noted, and every record is preparing to testify. They cannot run from the sound of their own actions. Archangel Michael says, you are innocent, and your innocence will shine brighter than their darkness. This truth cannot be erased. Type Amen 808 if you believe your vindication is unstoppable. The ones closest to this scheme are starting to fracture. They no longer trust each other. The alliances they built with lies are crumbling in silence. One will betray the other, one will speak a name, and that name will carry the weight of exposure. This betrayal among them is the final step to their collapse. For in their own hunger, they will turn on each other, tearing down what they built with their own hands. The house of deceit is already leaning, and soon it will fall. You do not need to chase them, for the system of justice is chasing them already. You do not need to uncover them yourself, for exposure is already in motion. You need only stand still, shielded and prepared. Archangel Michael says, let the hand of heaven do the work, for it is swifter, stronger, and sharper than any hand of man. Type Amen 3030 if you release this battle into the hands of divine justice. The clock is ticking louder now, not in your room, but in theirs. Every hour that passes brings them closer to the collapse they cannot outrun. They know the moment of discovery is near, and that is why their actions are more frantic, their energy more scattered, their words more broken. They once moved with boldness, thinking they were untouchable. But arrogance is a fragile shield. Now, even their footsteps betray them. They move quickly, but speed cannot hide fear, and fear is the scent that follows them everywhere they go. Archangel Michael says, their speed is their undoing. They rush to cover what cannot be covered, they scramble to hide what has already been seen. Their desperation is exposing them faster than any investigator could. The account, the transfers, the signatures, they all stand as silent witnesses. Silent for now, but not for long. Soon, those witnesses will speak, and when they do, there will be no defense strong enough to silence the truth. Type Amen 4444 if you believe no lie can overpower the voice of truth. The roots of this plan go deeper than you think. It was not conceived overnight. It was whispered, planned, tested, and then built slowly, carefully. Each step they took was calculated, and yet every calculation ignored one thing: the power of light to reveal all things hidden. They built their tower of deceit high, but it is leaning. The higher they stacked it, the more unstable it became. Now, one final stone threatens to bring the whole structure down. That stone is already shaking in place, and soon it will collapse. Do not be surprised when the collapse is sudden. It will feel like a storm that comes without warning. But the storm has been building all along, and when it arrives, it will break everything they tried to keep intact. Archangel Michael says, the sudden collapse is not for your destruction, it is for your vindication. When their tower falls, you will still be standing. Type Amen 5757 if you are ready to stand strong in the storm. The evidence of their deeds is like a river. At first, it flowed underground, unseen, unbothered. But rivers always carve paths, and this river is beginning to surface. The water is breaking through the ground, and when it bursts, the flow cannot be stopped. They wanted the river to stay hidden. They wanted it buried beneath layers of lies. But now it is overflowing, spilling into places they cannot control, seeping into spaces they cannot cover. And soon, it will drown them in the very flood they created. This is the hour of exposure. You are not meant to fear it. You are meant to witness it. The very walls they trusted to protect them are the same walls that will echo with their downfall. Archangel Michael says, the flood will not touch you, it will carry them away, not you. Your feet will stand on dry ground. Type Amen 919 if you believe the flood of exposure will pass over you. Their voices tremble now when they speak of money. Their laughter is hollow when they try to act normal. Their energy is heavy when they walk into a room. These are the signs of guilt pressing down, the weight of stolen energy crushing their spirit. They believed they were in control, but the control has slipped from their hands. They are no longer holding the plan is holding them. It is dragging them toward the outcome they cannot escape, toward the judgment they cannot silence. And in the end, every hand that touched what was not theirs will be revealed. Every shadow they used will be lit. Every lie they told will be shouted back at them, louder than they ever imagined. Archangel Michael says, justice is not delayed, it is precise. The timing is perfect, and the exposure will arrive at the appointed moment. Type Amen 2828 if you trust in the timing of justice. The silence before exposure is the heaviest silence of all. It feels like the world is holding its breath, waiting for the sound of truth to shatter through the walls. The enemy walks with false calm, but inside their chest, their heart beats like a drum they cannot silence. They know the account cannot remain hidden forever. They know the transfers cannot keep slipping through unnoticed. They know that every step they took has left an imprint, and those imprints are forming a trail straight back to them. What they thought was erased has only been preserved. Archangel Michael says, no shadow is dark enough to erase a footprint. No lie is strong enough to bury a truth. And no plan is secure enough to escape the hand of exposure. The energy around them is unstable. Doors they thought were closed are opening unexpectedly. Conversations they thought were private are leaking into the open. Allies they trusted are beginning to pull away, sensing the weight of judgment that is about to fall. Type Amen 3939 if you believe no false door will remain shut against truth. The hours of comfort they once enjoyed have turned into hours of unrest. They wake with thoughts of being caught. They eat with little appetite, for every bite tastes of guilt. They walk with unease, looking over their shoulder, fearing what may come next. This is what stolen energy does. It does not bless, it curses. It does not strengthen, it weakens. It does not last, it collapses under its own corruption. And that collapse is already beginning. Their body may hide it for a moment, but their spirit cannot. The guilt weighs heavier than gold. The fear strikes deeper than any financial loss. And soon, their own conscience will betray them before anyone else does. Archangel Michael says, their fall has already started in the unseen, and soon it will manifest in the seen. You are safe. You are shielded. Type Amen 4747 if you trust that your safety is sealed. The account itself will become the loudest witness. Numbers never lie. Dates never disappear. Signatures never stop speaking. What they left behind will testify louder than their excuses ever could. They will try to explain, but no words will be enough. They will attempt to justify, but their justifications will sound hollow. They will search for someone to blame, but the spotlight will not move, it will remain on them. You will not need to speak in your defense. You will not need to lift a hand to fight. The system itself, the evidence itself, the trail itself will speak for you. Your vindication is not in words, it is in proof that already exists. Archangel Michael says, stand still. Watch how justice speaks without your effort. Type Amen 616 if you believe justice will speak for you. The enemy is losing ground quickly. Every day, another part of their plan breaks. Every week, another secret slips through their fingers. They are trying to hold water in their hands, but the more they grasp, the more it escapes. This is how downfall works, it starts quietly, then spreads uncontrollably. It consumes everything they thought was stable, leaving only ruins behind. Their false account, their false transfers, their false safety, it is all crumbling now. And as it crumbles, your position rises. What they tried to steal will return in ways they never expected. What they tried to bury will come back multiplied. What they thought would ruin you will instead elevate you. Archangel Michael says, reversal is already written. Their collapse is your rise. Type Amen 5050 if you believe reversal is unfolding for you now.